I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Global Book Network, we're exploring the powerful story of America's founding through a fresh and deeply human lens. The name of the book we're talking about, We the People and Our Freedom Charters. It's written by a terrific author by the name of John Pitkethly. He is a trained mental health therapist and a lifelong history enthusiast. The author combines his passion for U.S. government with insights from psychology and sociology to help readers rediscover what truly makes America exceptional. Originally written as a letter to his children, this book is a heartfelt, thought-provoking journey into the soul of the Constitution and what it means for we the people today. We're delighted to have this talented author join us here today on television. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put him on TV today, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. John, great to see you here today. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Logan. I'm very excited to be here.
Excited to have you on the show. Talk to us about that moment on Father's Day, 2017, that inspired this book.
Well, if you remember, it was President Trump's first year of his first term, and there was a lot of turmoil in the country on both sides. And first, I'd like to say that this book is not a political statement, and I'm not supporting or refuting any person or organization. This is completely a book about we the people, about us as Americans. And but at that time, there was so much going on with protests, and I don't know if you remember, people were tearing down statues, and there was just a lot of turmoil on the streets. And I was watching this, like most people, on television, and I noticed that when certain people were interviewed, they said a lot of things on, and this is on both sides of the divide, that are not accurate about our system of government, about who we are as a people. And it really bothered me. And it was really I guess, the culmination of years and decades of frustration that I've been feeling since probably the 90s, when once the Soviet Union collapsed, I feel like we've been a bit adrift. We had a unified goal in facing the Soviets, and once their regime fell, we sort of drifted for a long time until 9/11, obviously, and then we focused on that, and that, I think, has been pretty successful in putting down terrorism, but we're still adrift as far as knowing who we are as a people and what our system is about. And as you mentioned, I'm a licensed mental health therapist, so what I did, and this was sort of unintentional, it's just the way my brain works, is I started looking at America the same way I would look at a person who would come into my office. I started looking at started looking at America's family tree, then family of origin, then infancy, for a person that would be where they were born, who their parents were, and where they went to school, how they socialized with their peers and grew up, and what home life was like. And then finally, it's basically a step-by-step of each Freedom Charter, where anybody who wants to can read all three of them. And I need to clarify what that is. And then I have commentary basically on how it relates back to what I was covering in the book earlier, because I go all the way back to the beginnings of civilization. And I think that's something that is never or hardly recognized by people, is that America started in 1776. Technically, our country did. But all the founding philosophies and ideas and experiences of the human race leading up to that point go back 6,000 years to the beginnings of civilization. And I put the book together with that in mind, trying to explain the genealogy, if you will, of our country, all the way from ancient India and Samaria and Mesopotamia, all the way up through Egypt and all the other cultures and civilizations until we get to the founding and framing of our country. And then I show how all the events that happened before created what we have now. And the reason I did that is because a lot of us, me included, we don't fully understand who we are because we can't be objective about ourselves. And so we miss a lot of things where in therapy, you can discover these things by talking about it because a therapist will ask questions that kind of cause you to dig deeper and look at it differently than you did before. And that's essentially what I tried to do with the book is look at America. It's the same America, but from a different lens, like you said, through a sociological and psychological lens. And it's sort of a unofficial, I guess you would call it a psychological evaluation of the country, if you
Yeah,
will.
exactly. It's like you got America on the couch and you're finding out what ails it, and you're doing a forensic evaluation. You're looking back to its past, its present, and peering into the future perhaps as well. Talk to us a little bit about our freedom charters and what that means to you.
Okay. Well, the charters of freedom are the physical documents that are in the National Archives in Washington, D.C. Those are the actual parchments that these freedom charters were written on. I coined the phrase freedom charters because I didn't want it to be confused with the physical documents. This is more of the abstract ideas that are in those documents and all of the things that came before it in order to make the ideas what they are. Again, if you want to use a person as an analogy, the charters of freedom are the physical body, where the freedom charters are the mental and psychological body, if you will.
Awesome. Awesome. It's a great explanation for it. Tell us how this was a letter to your children, because that's the etymology of it all, right?
Yes, sir. I started writing it as a letter to my children because I was very distraught over the state of our nation, and I've been distraught for a while. Like you said, I spent my whole life studying history, and it's really just been I'm an enthusiast. I'm not a professional historian, but I've read enough on my own to have a lot of information that is useful. And I was very upset about what kind of world and country my children are going to be living in, given what I saw at the time and what I was fearing for the future. And I think a lot of people feel that regardless of where they are politically, we're just so disconnected from our heritage, from our beginnings. And so I wanted to explain it to them. As their father, I love them more than anything in the universe, and you know how it works.
Sure.
And I want to give them a better world than the world I inherited. And so I just started writing it as a letter, but it just kept going and going. And it actually kind of started really in the middle. And then I started working to the end, and then I went back. And so the book is sort of pieced together. I didn't just write it from beginning to end. It was done more like maybe a way a movie or a television show is done, where each scene is shot out of order and then somebody puts it all together. And that's essentially what I did.
Wonderful, wonderful. What role do you feel education or the lack of it plays in the erosion of civic understanding?
Oh, that is probably number one. I would call that number one. Our educational system is definitely broken. Now, I'm not here to critique anybody's leadership or teaching ability or anything like that. But what actually happened was I looked at my daughter's eighth grade American history book, and it said right on there, American democracy. And that kind of like sat back on that because I know democracy is a term that we all use generally to describe America, but America, by definition, is not a democracy. We're a constitutional republic, and there is a big difference between a democracy and a constitutional republic. I kind of relate it to in mental health, where people use bipolar or schizophrenia as a street term when those things are actually not, have a diagnosis with diagnostic criteria. So just throwing the word around, I feel like it devalues the meaning. And I understand when we use the term casually, but in a civics book that is supposed to be teaching our system of government, that really blew me away. And that it was something that really got me motivated to start writing. And I actually started writing it. It'll be 8 years this Father's Day. So it's been a long time in coming.
Well, it was a long time in coming, but we're glad it's here, and we're glad that the people of the United States and beyond who love our great country, our great democracy, and our great constitutional republic can learn from this book. It is called We the People and Our Freedom Charters. It is a powerful reminder of the timeless principles that shape our nation and the personal connection we all have to them. John, thank you so much for joining me here today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Pleasure's been all mine. I appreciate your insight and your wisdom to the folks at home. I'm Logan Crawford for GBN. So long for now.